Hello, lovely people. I am Sinead, and welcome. This week, I'm going to work on distressing the loft doll bed. I have painted it, and we're going to add a little distressing to it, and I want to share that with you. I also wanted to say that the knitting project, well, it didn't go on without complications, and I'm in a bit of a frustrating step on it, in that I got past the waistband. You know, we've got the full skirt, we're all the way up, and we're ready to start doing the opening for the sleeves. So that means we've got most of the dress done. And I look down, and this spot where I made some mistakes is showing. It's just, I made mistakes and I corrected them, and it doesn't look good. And then my stitch count is off because somewhere along the back edge I picked up a stitch. And I'm like, you know, that frustration you have when you realize you've got mistakes in this that you were really trying not to have this in a sample garment. So about 2.5, 3 inches worth of work, back down. And then I was clearly should not have been knitting, because I knit 2 rows, realized I'd done them wrong, took them out, knit 2 rows, did them wrong, took them out. Then I knit them again, they were still wrong. And I was like, okay, we're gonna just try and fix this by with the crochet hook and just correcting it. It's a different method. Instead of going back, you go back and correct, so that I didn't have to do the lace pattern different again. And it didn't work. I made a mess. And so now I'm going to have to possibly go back down to where the waistband decrease happens. So, you know, it's of the 2.5 inches, it's probably, I've got half of it redone correctly. So it's not a complete kerfuffle on that, but it's not good. Anyway, just know the knitting's not going great, but I'm keeping at it. I am not going to let this thing make me put it down and walk away for months, years, whatever it was I did last time. We're not doing that again. We're going to see it through. Determined this time to see it through. So we're going to take it apart again and work on it again, but we're not going to bore you with it. Or, you know, whatever, however you feel about watching me knitting, we're just not going to do that, because maybe that adds to it. I don't know. I think that I'm just wasn't in the right headspace. But we're going to get ourselves in the right headspace somehow. And know that on Friday, I'm going to show you the rest of the chair we started last Friday, of the covering of that chair, the upholstering of that chair, because I really think this is something that we make it too complicated. I know I do. I make it too complicated in my mind before I ever attack it, and then when I finally attack it, I'm like, this isn't that hard. Why was I doing that? So I kind of want to show you how I go at it, and maybe it'll make it easier for you to take on upholstering a miniature chair, and go over some of the things that you need to do for smaller and larger projects, recovering the chair. And so I'm going to turn the camera around and we'll get started doing that distressing. So I've painted this loft bed in a black brown combo. I think it was more brown than black. So like, you know, 2 parts brown to 1 part black kind of mixture. And I don't know that it's showing up at its true color on the video, but anyway, I want to make it look a little more worn, and so I'm taking 1000 grit sandpaper, and so this is milk paint, so it is definitely flat. So I will be sealing it afterwards with Mod Podge, and if you're using, you can do the same thing with acrylic paint. If it's a gloss acrylic, then it's going to really show when you do this part. And you probably don't want don't concern yourself with the process. Like don't freak out over the fact that you can see that you're dulling it. You'll want to put a sealant on it, a glossy sealant, so that afterwards it all has the same finish. But if you're using a flat or a matte, most acrylic is either matte to glossy, most of the time not flat, but craft acrylics anyway. If you're using that, then you're still probably going to want to even out the finish with a sealant. I'm trying to keep this where you can see what I'm doing, but as our space is limited. Anyway, I just want to put some wear on the steps and on here on the railing where you would be running your hand down. And this is, did I say it was 1000 grit? If I didn't, I'm saying it now. 1000 grit. I think it's even a wet dry. Not that that matters. After I get done sanding this, I will take a damp paper towel and wipe away the extra dust that's going to be on here. So you may have seen my post about having injured myself this recently. Right after I got done with the video, I mean right after, covering, what was I doing? It was the chair. It was a Dolls and Dollhouses chair video, you know, where I was putting together the kit. So I was cutting the foam that I had put aside for that to see if it was going to work. And I fumbled my craft knife and cut my foot. Well, foot's fine. We're hunky-dory. It was a bleeder, so we had a mess. And I was rather obsessed with cleaning the floor while I waited on somebody to come back in the house who could hear me say, I need help. I could have dealt with it, I guess, on my own, probably, but, you know, movement causes more mess, and I was really not liking making the mess. And it's a little ridiculous, and just a tiny bit of obsessive with not making messes because I don't like cleaning them up. Anyway, I'm just laughing at myself over that. It kind of reminds me of my great-grandmother, who, she was 98 to somewhere between 98 and 100. And so that put it in 1998 to 2000. She fell in the bathroom in the middle of the night. Now, at this point in her life, she is, well, she can't hear all that great. She uses a hearing aid, used a hearing aid that was the box. It was a little transistor radio type hearing aid, which was the most, at the time, the most most amplified hearing aid you could get. So she couldn't hear all that great, and she had cataracts so bad that she had minimal vision. It was very peripheral only. Hello, Oni. Anyway, so she's in the bathroom late at night and she falls. And of course, when the family is conveying this story, because I wasn't there, your immediate reaction to an elderly woman falling is, what did she break? And you're just, oh my gosh, she must be in the hospital. What did she break? You're thinking horrific thoughts. And she didn't break anything on her person. She was fine. She broke the toilet. She broke the toilet, and she's down there trying to turn off the water because water is leaking out of the tank where she's cracked it. She didn't live alone. One of her younger children lived upstairs, so she wasn't alone, but she's hollering, and everybody's sound asleep, and she's fumbling and frustrated, and yeah, trying to clean up the mess or prevent a mess so that she doesn't have to clean it up. May have gotten that from her. Okay. I kind of feel like, I don't know, it could go a little further. Part of me is thinking that one of the ways in which you could make this look more worn here is to mix up a lighter color brown paint and paint that lighter brown in here. So, so that it kind of glowed a little more. I don't know, that's not the right word. Highlighted it a little more. So that's a choice. You can put a lighter color of the overall color to get a highlighted area to look like wear. I'm not going to do that. I am going to wipe this down and get ready to seal it. I know that when I put the sealant on it, it is going to show up stuff that you can't currently see because the details disappear in a matte paint. Not quite sure why, but they do. And maybe it's just our perception. Probably our perception. Maybe I should have gone over this end here more. So this is going into a witchy setting. Maybe paper towel wasn't the best choice with this. I don't know. And I want that more worn appearance. And she's going to be kind of in a cabin with maybe an open fireplace, maybe not. Haven't decided yet. It is the top floor. It's going to be on the top floor of the high-rise. So it's like I said, down the road a bit. And I did get some work done on the first floor. Piles be damned. I wanted to move forward. So I just, let's see if that shows up. I feel like the wear here, once I cleaned off the dust, showed up better. This more so than say down here. So I think I'm going to sand these two steps a little more. So I've had a bit of a interesting week with the having to sit still. It only takes 24 hours for your skin to mend, and I used super glue to help hold it closed because we didn't have any butterfly bandages or steri strips or anything like that in the house. We were all out. So super glue worked to hold it closed. It was a nice clean cut. Just glued it back together. Advice on doing that is hold it closed, apply a very small amount of super glue to the wound. Don't put a whole bunch on there. And you know, you could always go to the emergency room and they'll do that for you, or whatever they have at hand. Due to the fact that I have chemical sensitivities, I avoid going in for anything that I can bandage at home. Okay. Yeah, I like that better. I'm liking that a lot better. Right there. Kind of is motivating me to kind of hit these other steps more. I'm going to get another piece of sandpaper though. So yeah, 24 hours is all it took for the foot to kind of mend itself. And then for me, the issues were the weather was changing, and I have old injuries on my left foot, which makes it tender. And so they were flaring up because we had a storm coming in, and the barometric pressure was changing, and I was just like, is it because of the cut or is it because of something else? And then, you know, and the weather hadn't changed. I couldn't see it yet. It was like a warning. You know, the proverbial, I can feel it in me bones. Yeah, I was definitely experiencing that this week. My foot was yelling, storm coming, and I was going, could you just heal? Stop talking so much. Oh yeah, I'm liking that. Yeah. I don't know. I hope you can see that. I feel like this should have more, but I don't want to take off too much. That sounds crazy. Just go at it. Your witchy girl's been sliding her hand up and down the railing. Every time I look at a finished newel on the staircase, I think of It's a Wonderful Life, and I know that they had constantly dealing with that newel on the staircase to show his frustration with where he was in life. But I tell you what, that's the easiest thing in the world to fix, and the absolutely ludicrous that they hadn't fixed it. Yeah, can you tell I'm bothered by that? A little bit of glue, people. He'd stop having that frustration. But he needed to have the frustration. I know. It motivated the plot. Okay. I think I'm going to call that good, and we're going to open up the sealant and seal this. And you should be able to see right here with the first bit. Ooh, maybe I don't want that one. Yeah, I'm digging around looking for the brush. Sorry. So this should bring out that effect like here immediately, but I don't know. It might wait. Yeah, it's giving it that white. I don't think it actually shows up all that much better yet. And you may be wondering why I'm not using, say, the shellac that I like to use. That's because I'm almost out of shellac, and Arthur tells me that we don't have more shellac resin to mix up. So I'm using what I've got. Speaking of which, I guess we weren't speaking of it. Don't you just love it when you say speaking of which, because a thought rambled through your head and it had nothing to do with what you were talking about, but you say it anyway, and it's totally not the right thing to say, but you do it. Anyway, maybe other people don't do that. Maybe it's just me. But I just wanted to say that if you have not been over to the website, please do. And check out the different items there. Maybe you'll find something you just can't live without, especially if you sew. The little bitty ball jointed dolls, their clothes fit more than just the ball jointed dolls. They fit Kelly and some of the other dolls, like American Girl, Mini American Girls can wear a lot of the stuff made for the 6-inch dolls, the Pookie Fee stuff. If I have the doll and I can show you what it looks like, I usually put it in the listing. Just scroll through the carousel and you can see the different dolls wearing it, kind of give you an idea of how it fits. Maybe you've got one of those other dolls. And really help me out. They're very affordable if you want to try sewing. And as far as any of the stuff in the shop that is printable and you don't have a printer, I have heard that there are printing services at the places that like Kinko's. I'm at a loss for names, because here around us it's a small, it's not a chain. We don't have a chain. We have a place called the Printery, and I know that since it's not a chain, that's not going to mean anything to you. But they have services where you can possibly go in with the file on your phone and be able to get it to them. They know more about transferring files than I do. Anyway, and have somebody else print it. You could go in before you've bought anything and ask them if they can do that like it, and what form they'd, how they'd need you to bring it to them. Some of these businesses are really helpful with that. So we're probably going to end up with some globs of paint, not paint, but glue, Mod Podge coverage that look weird. And I'm just going to not worry about it and consider it the, the wear patterns. This is going to take me forever. So I am going to leave you here, and I will show it to you probably in Friday's video when I'm giving an update on the other stuff that I got finished over at the high rise. And I have some plans to get back to the cardboard dollhouse and possibly do some things over there. So no, there's no one here with me, just me. I hope you have a delightful day and a wonderful week, and there's lots of humor and fairies floating around with you too. See you next time. Bye-bye.